Mm. Hello, hello. Chainsaw Man, chapter 190. Actually, what chapter is it? 189 came out today, and we are going to talk about it. So, getting right into it, Yoshida stuck his hand through Denji's mouth, and on the other side, it comes out of Pochita's mouth and he tries to use the octopus tentacle to grab and hold onto something in the real world, but it was chopped off immediately by the aging devil. So, what I really want to get into right away is the physiology of how that can even work. And I had to pull out the drawing tablet for this one. So, here is a basic fan art, if you will, of what is happening. So Yoshida here is sticking his hand through Denji's throat, and on the other side, it's coming out of Pochita's mouth. So that means that the wormhole, the portal in Denji's and Pochita's bodies, is located in the throat of, like, around the throat area, somewhere here. And you might think, what's the point of this? But I think there is somewhat importance to this one because we know for sure now that the portal, the wormhole, isn't located in their gut, in their stomach. Because if it is, then it would be more like this, where Yoshida's hand is coming out of the other end of Pochita. And I think that's important in the as far as the like vomit devil storage is concerned. So because the portal is set higher, that means that we're not really getting this, unfortunately. But anyways, the aging devil cuts off Yoshida's tentacle, and he recognizes that if they travel into the real world, they are going to die, get killed immediately. So Asa gives it the shot. Literally, she sticks her hand through Denji's mouth and fires, but she can't see, so she sticks her whole body through Denji's mouth so that she can aim at the aging devil. And a few weeks ago, during chapter 183's discussion, did a little fan art diagram. I think I was pretty close, except the placement of the portal, as we discussed earlier, is not at the stomach, but rather at the throat. So that's a oversight on my part. Ba-ba-ba. But anyways, the aging devil turns Yoru into an old lady for a brief second, and she retreats back into the aging devil's realm. She asks if she's still beautiful to Yoshida and Denji, and they give her positive body affirmation, which is actually a surprisingly wholesome scene over here. But we'll come back to this at the end of the discussion, because I think there is something quite important here. But back on Earth, we finally see Fumiko again after a couple chapters of being off screen. She is collapsed on the ground in a lot of pain because she lost much of her organs. And the next couple of panels kind of confuses me, because it looks like the aging devil is talking to itself. So I'm not sure if it's talking to the heads on the side, or if it's overhearing Yoshida, Denji, and Asa's conversation on the other world and responding to that. So I do feel maybe it's my comprehension, but I do feel these panels could have more clarity to it, or it's intentionally confusing because the next segment is also very confusing because Fumiko walks into Fumiko on the ground, and the other Fumiko comments on the state of her body. So there are now two Fumikos at least, and I want to go on a side segment on the number 2, the significance of it, because in the past two volume covers, we see Nayuta and Fumiko both making the number 2 sign. This could be implying that they need to go do number 2, but more likely it's something else. So there are a bit of a recurring theme in part 2 with the idea of two, I would say like two identities, two personalities, two egos, two alter egos, and that both Asa, Yoru, Denji, and Pochita are sharing each other's bodies. Maybe not in the order I just said, but they are dual spirits in a single body. And Fumiko has been acting pretty inconsistent, as we mentioned pretty much every week, in that at times she seemed to be genuinely wanting to save and help Denji, and other times she is very cruel and cold and just overall very merciless. So there is a bit of a split personality going on here. And speaking of Nayuta, I think this is a whole other dose of Nayuta cope about her being alive. Yeah, not really sure how to expand on that just yet. But yeah, so part of this sounds like me hallucinating, but I do think there is definitely a bit of a number 2 theme going on. But anyways, the other Fumiko shows up and says that she promised herself when she is about to die, she will side with the winner side, the people that are winning, the winning side. And this kind of tracks with what she did in the past, where she seemed genuinely wanting to protect Denji and Nayuta. But then minutes later, as soon as Denji passes out, she turns on Nayuta and runs away. But anyways, the new Fumiko tells the dying Fumiko that, she's leaving it to her. And the dying Fumiko offers all of her to Yoshida. So Yoshida is in on this too. He knows what's going on. And anyways, the chapter ends with Yoshida taking Fumiko to enhance his octopus devil and I guess summon the full form of the suspiciously attractive octopus devil. Just yeah, anyways, so that's the end of the chapter. So obviously we need to kind of talk about what Fumiko is, because right now we don't have a lot of answers. I think I might have come across an answer in my head, but I do that every week, so that may be wrong. But so there are a couple possibilities. First is that it's a clone. So if that's the case, that would mean that the public safety sector has been cloning people in their secret facility and just using them for contracts. I don't think that's very likely, just because we've seen the public safety facilities, we've seen the government. Doesn't look like they're doing that. Doesn't seem like they're even that competent to do that. So the second is that she is being brainwashed, and I think that's kind of true in a way. I think 2 and 3, I shouldn't have put them in different categories, because I think they are both kind of right. So before I go any further, I think we should go back a little earlier when Yoru got turned old, and then she was personally insulted by her beauty being disfigured. She curses the aging devil for ruining her beauty for a second, but you have to remember that this isn't actually her body. This is Asa's body. Her true form, from what we saw, was an owl. So this shouldn't matter to her, in theory. So down to my actual prediction is that Fumiko is kind of going through the same thing, where a devil like Yoru invaded Asa's body, or invaded, in this case, the real Fumiko's body. And over time, as we see with Asa and Yoru, is that their egos kind of get merged together. But in Fumiko's case, I guess there's a dominant, like the devil in this case is kind of like taking control of the body over time. And in turn manipulates the real Fumiko to do whatever. Which is why the real Fumiko seems to have like, or not the real Fumiko, but the Fumiko that talked to Denji in the past seemed to have a lot of human memories, like when she was talking about her parents and whatnot. And I guess this new form, like, because it's not a hybrid or a fiend, so this new split souls form, I guess they separate when the host is near its death. And in that instant, they will split, but the devil will assume the human body and continues to live. So in this case, since the original Fumiko is dying, the devil splits from her body and carries on in her new true form as this. I can't really guess what kind of devil this is, but I think it's going to be somewhat related to just like avoiding death. If I have to like guess right now, I would say maybe the betrayal devil, perhaps. I can't think of like a abstract concept that's like only about cheating death, or at least doing everything to not die. But yeah, that's about the end of my analysis. Let's see if we have any comments for today. Boy, was this a chapter. It was certainly a chapter. W fan art. Thank you. I worked very hard on it. I had to pull out the drawing tablet for the week. Also, Yoshida being octopus is deconfirmed. I actually did see something about that, because there was, I think it was a Reddit post that talked about Yoshida being, like, the actual octopus devil. But I never really bought into that, because, give me a second, because when Yoshida and the other public safety agents were confronting Pochita, the aging devil kind of just said, hey, human, good job. So in this case, you would think that the aging devil can tell accurately who is human and who is not. Oh, but that reminds me, that actually kind of, that's part of why like I came up with this theory, in that the aging devil kind of recognizes, like, or he was unable to recognize Fumiko as a devil. So that's why I thought that this is like the human side and there's like a devil side. But anyways, back to the Yoshida thing. Right, back when he like wrapped his tentacles around Pochita, the aging devil was like, human, good job. So I don't know if I can find the panel right now. Oh, there it is. It's chapter 173. Where did I? Oh, there it is. Um, so he is like, hey, human, good job. So I never really thought took the theory too serious. But copycat devil. What if she made fake Soul Man? It's possible. I still think it's like the Akoku as the fake Chainsaw Man because he looks like the main character. He looks like Agni from Fire Punch. So I feel there's something there. But yeah. Is this Fumiko's spirit or something? I got confused when reading this chapter. Yeah, I did too. I can't really give you an answer on that right now, other than my own theory here, just because we know very little. I do think she is a devil. But yeah, devil that like has, cause Fumiko and Asa do have a lot of contrasting visual parallels in that, I think some people made like observations about their hairstyles being the complete opposite and their treatment towards Denji being like opposite as well. So I think that's where that's possibly going. Yeah, so that's my thought. Um Let me see. Fumiko clone devil abilities. You think Kishibe cracked the octopus devil and made Yoshida? He could have. The age checks out. I wonder if Kishibe's gonna come step in the future chapter of Chainsaw Man after the whole aging devil public safety hell. Okay, so the thing with Kishibe is that the next time we see him, I don't know if he's going to be on Denji's side entirely. Because right now, a lot of the public safety sector knows about Pochida's abilities. And the only way they can really know that, other than like just being informed by another devil, another powerful devil, is Kishibe telling them what happened, what Makima told him. So it could be that Kishibe is fully supportive of what the public safety sector is currently doing. But yeah, we'll see. Let me show off my art. But let me see. Where was I? You really want to see Kishibe back in Chainsaw Man since we last saw him? Unrelated, but what drawing tablet do you use? I use the Huon. I think it's the 13, I want to say. I bought this like 3 years ago. I don't remember the exact brand off the top of my head, but it is the Huon. I want to say 11 or 13, but it does have a display on it, like where you can see it and then like draw on it. Because some tablets are just like a USB, you plug it in, and then you have to look at the monitor. Whereas mine right now, you can just look at the screen, draw on it. I honestly don't think it's worth like the extra $150, but oh well. As you can see, this is the result of the peak of my artistic abilities. But yeah, let me see. You never liked Yoshida being the octopus. Contract with the Clone Devil. Clone Devil, I think it's a good idea, but at the same time, it's like, how much do people fear clones? Because I think it's an interesting topic, because in the 90s, at least in the real world, cloning was a pretty big thing. They successfully like cloned a entire sheep around that time. So during that era, like cloning was a pretty big topic. So I think it could be like an interesting idea to bring it up here. So we'll see. I'm thinking the Fumiko devil is going to be more like Makima devil, where it's a more abstract concept. Where so like that's how she's able to pull this off. But I think cloning devil actually makes a lot of sense too. Let's see, Fumiko reminds me of a negative version of Himeno. Yeah, I do agree the whole giving her heart to Yoshida kind of does remind me of when she's like gave everything to the Ghost Devil. Let's see. Himeno sacrificed herself to the Ghost Devil to save others, versus Fumiko giving her heart to save herself. Yes, that's a really good way to put it. I'm so torn on like if she's actually saving herself though, because if I am right about like her being part human and part devil, then that would mean that in this moment she is getting rid of her human side entirely. If anything, this scene kind of reminds me more of when Santa sacrificed the old man who we thought was Santa to begin with, to summon the Hell Devil. Let's see. Using Kishibe is because he has always seemed to have a liking to Denji. Yeah, it could be. I'm honestly fine just not seeing Kishibe for like the rest of part 2. Just because I don't know what else he's gonna bring at this point. I think it would be cool to see him, just to see like the state of the public safety sector. Cause as far as we can see, he's not part of it at the moment. So, who knows? Kishibe probably quit. Yeah. He probably did. Although that's my thing with the end of part 1, because we don't really know like the politics of the public safety sector when Makima decided to do what she did, right? Because Kishibe led like the other members of the public safety sector against her, but we don't exactly know if he did that on his own or if he did that with like the approval of the government. Because Makima had like a contract with the prime minister, so I don't think it was very clear if she did it like with the approval and authorization from the rest of the government. From recent chapters, it doesn't look like it, because the other politicians don't really know about what Pochita can do. But at the same time, the US president, the Bill Clinton looking guy, he knew what Makima was up to. So somehow the American president knew more about Makima or more about Pochita than the people the Japanese government did, the people that actually had Pochita. So not really sure. There's like unclear politics that I wish we can get more explanation on. I would say that would be the biggest reason why I would want to see Kishibe again. But yeah, I think we exhausted all we can talk about for the chapter for now. Definitely a lot of interesting concepts this chapter, interesting ideas. So a big change of pace from the other recent chapters where it's just like all action and you finish reading it in like 20 seconds. But yeah, I think that's all I have to talk about for now. But yeah, thanks for participating in chat, and I'll see you guys next week.